Looking to trade your old bulk for some of the latest Pokemon booster boxes? Well, check ccgcastle.com. The process is very simple. Send in 1400 cards and get a brand new sealed booster box back. We ship boxes worldwide for free once we get your cards. Make sure to check video description or check ccgcastle.com for more informations. How's it going, Pokefans? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we will be looking at one very interesting budget deck that you can build, especially for the standard format. So this is the Yanmega break featuring Garbodor. So first of all, probably a lot of you will say, you're actually crazy, you're playing Garbotoxin Garbodor together with Yanmega. Yanmega can use Sonic Vision and attack for free if there is no ability abuse. Why in the world would you do that? But there's only one answer to that question, and basically the answer to that question is try to use your Yanmega in an early game, assault your opponent with Assault Beam for like 50, 120, 150, 170 with Kukui and Choice Band, which is more than enough to one-hit knockout something like Tapu Lele, for example. But on the other side, in the late game, we can simply ability abuse our opponent with the Garbotoxin and basically attack with the Garbodor Trash Launch for 20 times 20 for each energy in your opponent, for each item card in your opponent discard pile for just a single energy card. This is just mind-blowing. I mean, those two attackers together, that's pain in the you know what for your opponent. So I'm also running one copy of Oranguru and one copy of Octillery with that Abyssal Hand, so I can have, you know, a budget drop support, which is not a Shaman or which is not Tapu Lele. So yeah, we really want to have budget deck, and this is probably this deck together does not cost probably like a single Tapu Lele GX. This is just my personal opinion. I mean, Garbodor is just $1 a piece, Yanmega Break is just $1 a piece, Octillery is probably $1, and the same thing for Oranguru. Those supporter cards are $1 a piece, and V Seekers are actually $2 a piece. So yeah, I mean, probably the whole deck costs around 40, 45, 50 bucks. Where you compare that to the single Tapu Lele, he's like $40 alone, so that's just mind-blowing. And yeah, I mean, I'm running 20 Pokemon, 34 training cards, and 6 energies. So yeah, 4-3-2 line of Yanmega, 4-1-3 line of the Garbodor, and 1 copy of Oranguru and Remrite and Octillery. Even if you're stuck with the Trubbish, you can always try to Ace Spray your opponent and discard energies from his active Pokemons. Let's move to the item card so we can see what this deck actually contains. As usual, 1 copy of Escape Rope because it's it's just too good card in my opinion. 2 Field Blowers because we really want to discard, you know, opponent tools and have more damage counters available with that Trash Launch Garbodor. 2 copies of Level Ball and 4 copies of Ultra Ball for the setup. Mainly because there is no Tapu Lele for the Bridget turn 1. Also, I'm not running Bridget because it's very hard to get Bridget. Trust me, really it is. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher and 1 copy of the Revitalizer. So we can actually recover those Pokemons from discard pile back to our hand. More than that, only 3 copies of V Seekers because I decided to go with more consistency here, so I'm running 4 copies of Forest of John Plants. In addition to that, 8 drop supporters. 2 of them are going to be Judge. We actually need Judge to disrupt also our opponent, but be able to attack with that Assault Beam. Also, 2 copies of N and 4 copies of Professor Sycamore. Let's say we are running 2 copies of Lysander for that. Catching Pokemon on our opponent bench, 1 semi-drop supporter, which is Professor Kukui, of course, for extra 20 damage and for extra 2 cards, and of course 1 copy of Teammates, which can be very important in deck like this. Now, 4 tool cards, 2 of them are going to be Choice Band and 2 Flowstones, you know, just in case we need to retreat, and of course 6 basic Psychic Energy cards, so we can actually attack for just a single energy with a Trash Launch for 20 times the each item card our opponent have in his discard pile. So, very interesting deck list, no question about it. It's very cheap to build, especially right now. Post-rotation, technically this deck can be played even after the rotation, but the only problem with this deck is the fact that we are going to lose Forest of John Plants, and we're not going to be able to evolve that rapidly as we can right now. So yeah, basically this is the only problem, and probably the only card that will go out of the rotation together with the Lysander and Teammates. So if you're looking for any of these cards, make sure to check ccgcastle.com. Cards available for very cheap prices, available worldwide, with the tracking number, with the shipping, so make sure to check that. Everything you need to know is provided in my video description. So let's do some game tests so you can actually see how this deck will perform in the action, how it works, and how the strategy will go on. So see you in the game. Alright, so welcome back to the game test for this Yanmega Break and Garbodor deck. Garbodor can attack for 1 energy card, where on the other side, Yanmega can hit for free. So that's just pretty badass. And looks like my opening hand is not the best possible, but at least there is 1 copy of the Ultra Ball available in my hand. Meaning that technically with the Ultra Ball, I can grab myself for Anguru, I guess, which I'm definitely gonna grab. Let's discard teammates and 1 Psychic Energy card for now. And oh, you gotta be kidding me. He is in my prize card, so I guess I can grab my Yanmega and put it into play, but I'm gonna take a risk with that Remoraid. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to take the risk here and pass my turn back to my opponent. Okay, definitely not the best opening hand. No question about it. I just hope to get something bigger and better. Okay, so Ultra Ball for 1 Max Potion. Okay, so immediately I know what's on the other side, and it's annoying Metagross GX with 250 HP. A Fortress is on the other side. Let's better say that. Okay, so far any kind of supporter card will be just fine for me, so I'm hoping that my opponent can grab something like N with that Tapu Lele, and that would be just nice for me, but probably he's gonna stick with the Bridget, of course, and set up on his bench like 3 Belgiums. Oh, so there's also Solgaleo GX in that deck. Well, that's interesting. Hopefully the top deck will be okay for me. There's a Beacon. And that's for like probably... If he have Rare Candy, I might see that Solgaleo. Nope, for the Cosmion and the Matang. Alright, so still hoping for the best here. And... just another Yanma. That's not the best, but let's target that Belgium on the bench. I mean, it's pretty much the same. And let's attach the Psychic Energy and see what he have in his hand. 2 VS Seekers. Okay, so technically next turn probably my opponent will end me, which is nice. So there is 1 Cosmium, and probably a tank will go to the Belgium with the energy on the bench. Alright, because he definitely don't want to take a risk being knocked out from my Yanmega. And there we go, so there's a finally VS Seeker, which is going to be for the N. I actually only regret that I didn't put my Forest of John plant in play, so I can have that free evolution with my Yanma, and also 1 less card in my deck to draw, but it's just pretty much okay for now. Alright, there is another energy attachment. He has so far 3 tools, and Core Beam just for like a 20. Okay, so there we go. It's my turn, and I managed to top deck very nice card, which is a Level Ball. Of course, I'm gonna grab myself Octillery here. No question about that move. Choice Band can easily be attached to my bench Yanma. And 1 Ultra Ball for something like... let it be 1 Trubbish. Let it be 1 Trubbish. Right now my opponent actually knows the tactic that I'm gonna use, but still he have only 3 item cards. Well, there is Yanmega, and I have exactly 4 cards in my hand, but since my opponent does not have tool attached, I'm gonna definitely go to try get maybe a Mega Break. So I can basically hit for like 100 and 1-hit knockout his Pokemon in play. and looks like how this is actually gonna happen. Ultra Ball definitely needs to be for something like a Trubbish and another Yanma. And basically, I'm gonna grab myself just another Yanma so I can have it for the next turn. But still, I cannot evolve, so I can just at least use Assault Beam for 50. Which means that he actually managed to survive his turn right now with that Belgium, and that's definitely not good for me. It's definitely not comfortable because he can play Max Potion, heal damage around easily. But yeah, I mean, once he will have enough tools in his discard pile, I'm definitely gonna clutch for my... Oh, interesting, he decided to evolve into the Metang. That's interesting. An energy attachment to the Benched one. And there's a Field Blower, so I'm going to lose two important tools. I mean, Choice Band, it is important. I mean, I can two-hit knockout his Metagross with my Yanmega, for example. But so far, he also added a couple more damage counters in his discard pile. Let's count those item cards. Right now, I see like 5 item cards, and that Ultra Ball is like 6. And he have option to evolve into the Solgaleo and basically use that Soul Burst GX and attach up to 5 energies from his deck to the Pokemons in play. Still, it's very expensive to attack, for example, with the Solgaleo, and he actually better decided to retreat down to the Vulpix and use Beacon. Of course, Beacon will be for one, probably Metagross and one other Tapu Lele for the next turn, but I have surprise... Oh no, for 2 Metagrosses. But I have surprise for my opponent. I have the Judge available in my hand, and of course I'm looking forward to set up as much as I can. And then basically play my Judge. So let's see what we can find with a Beazle hand before actually Judge happen. Yeah, I definitely need to use my Judge here, no question about that move. And oh, there's also Escape Rope, but unfortunately I cannot play it. So I can retreat for free. I can hit for like Barrier Break and 100 and take the first knockout. It would be a second knockout if I was a little bit luckier, but it's not. Still, there's a Ranguru. Alright, at least I have one prize advantage over my opponent, and he have like 5 item cards in his discard pile. Once he will pump up more item cards, more and more item cards into his discard pile, I'll be able to have more damage counters with my Garbodor, and that's going to be definitely good. So there is one copy of a Teammates, and right now he can grab himself definitely 2 Metagrosses, and he can start to spread damage around the board. Whew. Okay, this is going to be very painful to watch because I will have so many hard time knocking out those Metagrosses. I wish I was able somehow to knock out that second Metang that he had on his bench, but unfortunately I didn't. Alright, so 2 Geotech systems for the knockout, and then next turn he can even knock me out with his Solgaleo if he wants. But of course it's going to be very expensive. Meanwhile, I will definitely try to get somehow, maybe even in play, my Garbodor with the Garbotoxin. I'm actually thinking about doing that. To be honest. So I can attack for a couple turns with my Garbodor, for example. Whew, but let's see what we can do in this situation. We can definitely put Garbodor. I have available Teammates, which is a good sign. Which is definitely a good sign here. So let's first go with that Instruct, then a Beazle hand. It is another V-Seeker. Okay, let me just grab that Teammates, actually. Let me just grab that Teammates, and let's try to... If he don't have energy in his hand, I definitely need Rescue Stretcher, and another card that I can take here could be Revitalizer. Why not? So first Revitalizer to set another Yanmega in play. right, there we go. Another Yanmega is ready. Then, of course, a Bezel Hand. Another Yanmega and Professor Sycamore. And I need to put Pokemon from my discard pile back to my hand, which is going to be a Garbotoxin Garbodor, so I can actually shut down my opponent abilities, but also I'm going to shut down my abilities. Yeah, unfortunately, this needs to happen. And Trash Avalanche my opponent for like 100. So it's not enough. For not even close for the one-hit knockout, but hey, at least if he tries to retreat, I mean, who knows? Everything can happen. I mean, technically, if he decides to retreat, he needs to pay 3 energies. And then he might find himself in trouble. Still, there is not many item cards in his discard pile, only 6 of them. So he just decided to pass his turn back to me. And I have V-Seeker once again available, which means I can even Lysandre, for example. He's another Metagross without energies on the bench. Yeah, I need another attacker somehow. I mean, sooner or later I will have that. I will have my Field Blower available, but let's take a huge risk here by doing Trash Avalanche for like 100 on his Metagross on the bench. I might regret my decision, especially if he have Max Potion available in his hand, but if he don't, then I actually did a good call. So I'm very limited with my resources at this moment, very, very tiny with the resources. Have only 14 cards left. Still, if he wants to do something like Energy Attachment, he will definitely need somehow to put or discard my Floatstone from the Garbodor. So far I have like 2 Yanmegas ready and 1 break, which is very important. I'm still waiting my opponent to see what he can do. I mean, I'm not playing with a single Tapu Lele, I'm not playing with a single Shaman, I'm just having those Octilleries and Orangurus, so this is basically some kind of the budget deck in my opinion. Of course, if you are an old school player and you have all of these cards, this is definitely going to be a budget build for you. Oh, what a nice top deck that was. No question about that. Yeah, Trash Avalanche for the knockout. So I'm going down to like 3 price cards. Alright, so what we have here, a Field Blower and a Choice Band. Ooh, 2 very important cards here. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely going to need that Field Blower to have my Yanmega available to attack, but more than that, I need another Garbodor somehow. I need to set up another Garbodor in play as soon as possible, because this is very important. Right now, my opponent probably thinks, what should I do next? I mean, I'm in a very deep, you know what. But yeah, it's very confusing moment for my opponent. I wish I had another opportunity maybe to Lysandre and knocks out his Metagross somehow, but I didn't. Unfortunately, right now I will not have enough damage counters. Oh, he decided to promote Tapu Lele in the front. Of course, with the energy, he can retreat for free for 1 energy card, so it's not a big deal. I'm very close. I'm very close to get victory here, which is mind-blowing, especially against deck like Metagross GX, who has 250 HP and also resistance minus 20. Right now I can hit for like 120, 150 with my Choice Band on my opponent Tapu Lele, so only 1 item card in the discard pile will be completely disaster for my opponent. Plus on the other side I also have Escape Rope available in my hand. If he really wants to grab something like a Teammates, he definitely needs to pay that via Seeker, and if he do that, this is definitely not going to be good for my opponent, so I'm just looking forward to Trash Avalanche. Once again, he's Tapu Lele for like 120. I could maybe preserve my Garbodor in this situation, use my Field Blower, remove my energy from, remove my Floatstone from the Garbodor, and then just maybe hit for like 100 with my Yanmega break, but I couldn't do that simply because I didn't have enough. I have too many cards in my hand, so that's the problem. Alright, so still waiting. I mean, I'm very patient man, and I'm just wondering, will this be a GG? I mean, it's a very close to be a GG for me, of course. But yeah, my opponent's hand is a huge hand right now. He has so many cards in his, and he decided to pass his turn once again back to me, which means what I'm definitely going to discard here will be a Ultra Ball for something like a Forest and Yanmega in case of the... oh yeah, I have one more Trubbish, but I don't have Garbodor. Probably I will just draw one more Garbodor right now. And yeah, I mean, this definitely needs to be a knockout. But I'm just wondering if it's worth maybe to just knock him out with my Yanmega break, or maybe, yeah, this is the tough decision right now. Really, it is. I mean, yeah, let's trash Lange one more time. I'm very scared about being N for my opponent's side, which can probably happen. So it's definitely time to play Field Blower. I mean, no question about it. Let's just discard it, Floatstone. And yeah, I can't play Escape Rope. I cannot afford myself to do that. But what I can do basically is play my Abyssal hand and see what I can get here. Just another Psychic Energy card, which can definitely be attached somewhere. Like, for example, on this Yanmega break. So I can have attack with it. And of course, trash Lange. I mean, I couldn't retreat, unfortunately. I could with the Escape Rope, but that wouldn't be a good option. So there's another Garbodor and a Lysander. Alright, at least right now my opponent can play that Max Potion if he really wants. He can also try to end me, so he can maybe disrupt me. But since I have two drop supporters on my bench, the first one is Oranguru and the second one is Octillery, I'm not sure how smart that would be. So I just need 150 damage counters against my opponent. Metagross, how the things goes and stays right now. So technically I have 130. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 item cards in his discard pile. Not a lot, but still. If he really wants to heal some damage counters from the Metagross, he definitely needs to play that Max Potion. But then he cannot attack. Then he cannot... at least he can attach one energy card and one from his hand if he wants. But he definitely wants to attack with the Solgaleo. If he do attack with the Solgaleo, then he needs to discard 3 energies. And I think this is it. I think this is the GG. I think that I actually outplayed my opponent here with this deck. He probably didn't expect to see something like that. I mean, this Trash Lange is really Trash Lange. I mean, what else to say? It's just mind-blowing when you see that deck like the Metagross can lose to something like Yanmega Break and Garbodor. Probably the whole deck, it's not worth even close to my opponent. So yeah, I can go for like 100. I still don't have enough for the knockout. So I have Lysander, however, in my hand. He also have resistance -20. So yeah, probably just another Trash Lange, maybe even Escape Rope. Maybe my opponent bluffing here. Maybe he have some weird strategy to beat me. If I play Escape Rope and if I play Lysander, I can maybe... Yeah, but I still... Yeah, let's just try to preserve that Garbodor for later, if it's possible somehow. So I'm gonna play my Field Blower to remove Stadium from play, and then I'm gonna attach my Choice Band and basically play my Abyssal hand for 1 card, which is going to be a VS Seeker, and after that I'm gonna Lysander his Metagross and basically hit with the Barrier Break for like 100. Unfortunately, still short for like a 20. 6 item cards in my opponent discard pile, but at least right now I have that Garbodor preserved on the bench. In case if he wants to play Lysander, he can do that. But again, I have the Seeker available in my hand, which means I can simply knock out his Metagross. So I think the game is over. I also have only 8 cards available, but even in case of the end, I can recover pretty much easily because I have the Auxiliary Oranguru on the bench. So, yeah, I'm just waiting to see what else my opponent can do here. So far, he took only 1 prize card. I'm not sure why he didn't try to maybe at least use the Algorithm GX. It was definitely a very confused battle. But at the end, I managed to grab victory, so I'm definitely happy. So you can see that the budget deck like this can easily win against decks that are actually top competitive in Tier 1. So thanks for watching.